Today we'll be discussing the interest rate decision that happened on Tuesday, the 6th of February. So the RBA decided to keep its cash rate at 4.35%. So no change, which is probably a sigh of relief to a lot of people, just because the expectation was there that it could possibly go up. But I think as time goes on, the rate should probably it's more likely than not to stay where it is for now, because there's no real external factors that are causing inflation to come through. In fact, inflation is actually still increasing at 4.1% for the quarter, but it's significantly down on previous quarters. So things are still going up, but they're not going up as fast. So that's showing us that it's trending downwards. So the impacts of the cash rate being where they are look like they are working, and they're working in two ways. Firstly, it's by decreasing demand. So the demand for costs and goods are not as high because interest rates are more expensive. So if you think about your mortgage payments, or if you're an investor, your repayments for your mortgage, the interest component has gone up significantly, leaving you with less cash left over to spend on other things. So what happens when this happens in the economy is that costs of services generally start to go down because demand for those services are not there because people are not spending. So this is how the RBA tries to control inflation via interest rates. So this is why inflation is going down, because people are generally spending less because they're spending more on their mortgage payments. So this is not only for mortgage holders, as in residential, it's also for businesses as well. Businesses are paying more for cash from the bank, so they're investing less in their businesses, and that's via people and resources as well as equipment and stuff for their business. So they're spending less on their business, and that's also creating less demand for those services.
Yeah, and economics 101, the cash rate is effectively the RBA's tool to help manage the economy. And this is otherwise known as monetary policy. So this is one of the main levers by the government to influence how the economy is going. So if they are holding it, if they're trying to reduce it, the intention is to stimulate the economy. It's been increasing the past few times, and the intention is to decrease or dampen the economy and basically reduce inflation to meet its target inflationary rate of 2 to 3%.
Exactly.
So this is how it, I mean,
Exactly right. So when COVID happened and we had a pandemic, the economy stopped. So what they did, they cut the cash rate down to near zero. That meant that businesses, people, households didn't have to pay as much in interest and had more cash to spend in the economy. So they kept spending. So this is the tool that Dave's talking about that they use to go up and down. So if they want to slow the economy down, they put rates up. If they want to make the economy go faster, you could say, they put the rates down. So usually when interest rates do go up as well, unemployment also goes up. But at the moment, the labor market is pretty strong, and unemployment is pretty much steady compared to where it was last year. There's been a slight increase, but people still have their jobs. Employers are still paying. So at the moment, the labor market remains strong. So the trend that the RBA is noticing as well is wage growth is still happening, but it's not going as fast anymore. So people's wages are not growing as fast as they were previously. So this is also a sign of a slowing economy, because the demand for employment and employees is also slowing. So if there's less demand for employees, generally speaking, the amount that employers are willing to pay also decreases, because they have no need to hire someone or to replace someone in their job. So at the moment, the RBA's cash rate target has always been between 2 to 3%. They forecast this to happen somewhere in 2025. This is why I think as well, rates won't go much further. Rates won't go down soon. The expectation at the moment is rates are going to go down really fast over the next few months. I don't think rates are going to go down that fast this year, just because their main focus is to have inflation between 2 to 3%, and we're sitting at 4.1%. So until that sort of goes down to the target range, I don't see the RBA cutting interest rates anytime soon.
And definitely that 4% is an indication that potentially they might reduce the cash rate. But again, they're trying to predict what will happen in the future because inflation is a lag metric. And so there needs time for the impacts of the cash rate to filter through the economy. Where is that going to happen? How is that going to affect people's behavior? And that will happen only in the future. So its intention is to, and the intention is to have that impact gradually move towards that inflationary target of 2 to 3%. It's not going to happen overnight. So, you might have expected that they might have reduced it now, but the intention is that gradual move to that target rate of 2 to 3%.
100%. And the RBA, just like with other central banks all around the world, won't make any rash decisions unless there's something catastrophic that happens, like a pandemic or a war or something like that. Otherwise, they will take their time in making these decisions as they'll rely on data that's coming in. So they won't make any big rash moves anytime soon. They'll take their time. So there are a few things that are happening at the moment that could speed that up or slow that down. So at the moment, there's a big real estate bubble that's collapsing in China. We have a few of their biggest developers, which are highly levered with both local and international debt. That's causing a lot of Chinese people, investors as well, to be a bit scared of what's going within the Chinese economy. Of course, you've also got the Ukraine and Israel conflicts, which pose a greater threat in terms of the security to the Middle East and to Eastern Europe, just because of trade and wars and what could impact or arise from any conflict that happens. But they're probably big things that could change the speed at which rates go up or they go down. And the last thing from the RBA.
I just think, like, how lucky are we to live in an economy in a country like Australia? I mean, wars and things like that can happen anywhere, but it really gives me confidence that, Australia is a place to be. I'm really confident in our economy and how it's going to track on a global scale.
100%. Me too, for that fact as well.
Mm.
And the last thing in the RBA minutes that I read as well is there has been a bit of a change as to how often they meet. Previously, last year, they met every single month except January, the first Tuesday of the month. So that is, what's that? That's 10 or 11 meetings per year to discuss interest rate movements. However, now for 2024, there's only going to be a meeting there's only going to be a meeting 8 times per year. So on average, every 6 weeks. So that could change your investing decisions or your saving habits as well, because it just means that decisions are going to take longer to happen. If rates are expected to go down, then you probably have to hold on to the rates where they are for now for a bit longer, just because the meeting's going to take longer to get here. Whereas before, the meetings happened quicker, so they could make more decisions and rates could be cut or increased a bit faster. So that's what I read from the RBA minutes. Hopefully that was insightful. If you have any questions about the topic, feel free to reach out to us.
Sounds good.